Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. When we left off in the last video, I just gotten color down in the engine bay. So we're going to start off here with cleaning up all of the tape and tarps and whatnot that I have down. I've already picked up a couple of them and gotten them out of the way, but there's still a couple of old sheets that I use as drop cloths and all the paper taping and whatnot that I need to get off. So I'm going to go ahead and get to work on getting that removed and then take a look, see how things turned out. All right, and here we go. Tape has been removed. So you can see how everything turned out. Pretty happy with how everything laid down. I'll probably go over like this top rail here just to see if I can polish it up just a little bit, but really don't think it's going to need all that much. Everything looks pretty good. You know, all that will be exposed. I think it's going to turn out pretty nice. Kind of see back in here. Got the color in there. And then I just have to wipe down. There's a little bit of red dust on some of this stuff. But for the most part, yeah, it's looking pretty good. And then that brings us around to here, which this will all be very visible. Now it's nice and painted and not looking as dreary and dark and nasty. So yeah, pretty happy. My little tape job on the prop rod sticker, you can see a little bit of a difference there. So I'm going to try and go over that with some polishing compound, see if I can, clean it up a little bit better, blend it a little more, maybe take a little wet sand with a little bit of like 2000 grit or something. See what I can, do to try and blend that a little better. But I mean, it's really, from standing back, it's not really that noticeable. It's only when you're like looking for it that you see that there's a huge variance there. But yeah, I might be able to blend it, get it a little bit closer. So see what happens with that. But yeah, so I'm gonna get back to cleaning stuff up, wiping stuff down, and go from there. All right, update time. Been in the engine bay cleaning for a while now. Been working on these hinges with the tub of towels. They're definitely looking a lot better. It's finally starting to cut through some of the grime, so hopefully not too much more and I'll have these pretty well cleaned up. They're not a perfect match to the deck lid or the engine lid, but it is what it is. I really don't plan on pulling those off and painting them because then I'm sure this ledge won't match and it'll just be one of those vicious cycle things. So I'm gonna leave those as is. Went over here with some polishing compound. It blended the line per se better, but yeah, you can still see, there's a color variance. But again, I mean, it almost looks shadowed or whatnot. I'm really not that worried about it. We'll see how it looks in the light. If it's, again, obvious or obnoxiously obvious, maybe I'll just, get a brush and, touch it up a little bit. The paint on these body panels in here isn't perfect anyway. Reinstalled some of the plugs that I pulled out for painting. And then over the back rail here, I did go over it with a little polishing compound just to give it a little bit more of a shine. So looks a lot better. You can see the light shining on it pretty good. So that will look really nice when the side blades are on. I also kind of went down a little bit here where it'll be visible. It gets a little more textured down here just from, the way the paint was falling when I was spraying it. But that'll be covered by the engine, so I'm not too worried about that. Plus, I do still have to drill a hole for one more additional wiring harness that has to go through per the instructions from Frankenstein and John Woods, who did the electrical harness. So anyway, time to go in for dinner, so I'm going to call it a day right now. I'll come back out tomorrow and get back to work on other things and go from there. All right, so here we are. Been a few days since the last video clip. I've just been really busy, haven't been able to get out here. But in those days, I've been stewing over where I left things with this and, that line that you could faintly see where the tape job had been done poorly before. So as you can see, I have retaped this area. I scuffed the top and I'm just gonna do a little light top coat over it just to try and fill in and blend things a little bit better. So I've got, the one piece of masking tape along the bottom there kind of rolled to give a little bit of a soft edge and then everything else taped off. So just a couple quick passes over the top with the paint and I should be able to, blend some of that darker stuff in and make myself feel a little better because I'm not really happy with how it looks right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get to that and let it dry and we'll see how it turns out. All right, couple coats later, and you really can't see that dark area anymore. So hopefully nothing bleeds underneath the tape, and I can peel this off tomorrow and everything will look good and no more little dark outline that I should have taped properly the first time. So gonna let this sit overnight and come back to it, and we'll see how it turns out. All right, so here we are Saturday morning, 2 days since the last clip, just been tied up with stuff. So everything's had a chance to dry. As you can see, looks pretty good. Can't really see those marks anymore. So I'm gonna get this tape peeled off and see what the final results look like. All right, here we go. Tape removed and everything turned out really nice. There's like one little spot, I can see a little bit of red on the tip of the decal. I think a little bit of polishing compound, I'll take that right off, and I have to use that on this anyway. But yeah, at least got rid of those shadow lines that were around the decal. So much happier now. It's not going to keep me up at night. So with that, pretty much done with the paint in the engine bay. Need to clean up the vent for the passenger side and reinstall that. And then I was going to remove the one on the driver's side just so I can clean it up because it's pretty scuzzy. So going to get to work on that right now. All right, so here we go. At this point in time, I am pretty sure I'm done with doing whatever I'm going to be doing as far as trying to clean the engine bay walls and do resprays and this and that. You can see I've reinstalled the ductwork on the driver's side or passenger side. Pretty happy with how it looks. It's cleaned up now. There was a lot of grime inside that vent. Here you can see how the back wall is going to look. I still have to do a little polishing compound where I did the touch up where that decal is. Haven't done that yet, but I'll get that taken care of before the engine goes in. And then walking around from the other angle, went ahead and have reinstalled side panel. So here's how it looks. Everything's nice and cleaned up in there. And same with the other side. I pulled the grate off, cleaned that grate, cleaned inside of it. Everything's as clean as it's gonna get. So that being said, I think that is gonna be the end of this video. I've bored you enough with me trying to clean and fine detail the engine bay in preparation with for the installation of the engine and transmission. That being said, I think I'm now at the point where next video I'll probably start working on plumbing the fuel system. I already have, as you may have known from previous videos, installed the Walbro 255 fuel pump, so I don't have to do anything with the fuel pump. But I do have the Wilhelm fuel upgrades, so it's their regulator lines and all that stuff for plumbing in the 2GR. So I need to get that installed in the car. Start looking at drilling hole for the harness that has to be drilled in the firewall here. I can start laying out some of the additional wiring for the harness that needs to go in before the engine goes in. And then it is going to be moving on to cleaning this beast up. And hopefully I will have the bolts from Wilhelm in the next week or so. Or not Wilhelm, Hux. The next week or so. I can get this taken apart so I can see what kind of differentials in it, because that's on the to-do list. And then get the titanium bolts installed, and then what I'll do is test fit it to the back of the 2GR where I've already done the grinding, make sure everything fits just fine. Then it'll be installing the clutch, flywheel, final mating the transmission, and then slamming that beast into the car. So again, I think that's where I'm gonna leave the video here. If you've made it this far, I appreciate it. I know, like I said, these cleaning and painting videos aren't the most exciting things to watch, but we should be behind that now, and it is unfortunately a necessity if you want something to look good. So yeah, so that being said, thank you for watching. If you're enjoying what you are seeing, please like, please subscribe, please hit the notification bell if you have not already. And yeah, next video there should be a little more action and entertainment. Thank you for watching and have a great day.